Welcome back. You're listening to Protecting Your Family on Talk Radio 790 KBC. I'm your host, Attorney Barouti, joined by my co-host, Kerri Kasem. And on the line, we have Attorney Larissa Drohobyczer. Did I say that correctly?
Yes, you did. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. Now, before the break, we were talking about what Kerri went through with her father, Kasem. And according to reports, you are representing B.B. King's daughters. Is that correct?
I'm representing his daughters and 3 other of his children. He had a board that he, before death, kind of elected to handle his affairs. So I won't say their names publicly because they haven't been mentioned in the media, but Karen and Patty are 2 of my clients.
Okay. And according to reports, I have read that Mr. King's daughters they're not contesting the estate. And that's what I want to make clear, that this is not even an issue about money. Their main concern is what happened to their father in his final days. Is that correct?
Correct. What happened to him in his final days and possible breaches of fiduciary duty.
Okay. And do you have any clue why his family was prevented from seeing him? And it wasn't just his family. I heard that his friends weren't allowed to see him.
I was also told that as well. I was not retained at the time, but what I was told by my clients, Patty and Karen, who are his 2 daughters who were living with him prior to him being placed in hospice care, they mentioned to me that the locks were changed on the home and they were unable to see him, and they never got an answer as to why. For the record, the attorney for Ms. Tony stated that 1 granddaughter was allowed to see Mr. King, but I don't know the truthfulness of that statement. None of his kids saw him in his last days.
This sounds like isolation. And isolation in every state is elder abuse. I know under the penal code out here, it's 368. And unfortunately, APS, Adult Protective Services, and the police don't do anything about it. And it sounded as though that's the same thing that went on in Nevada. And I have to say, when you know, the lady that was taking care of Mr. King marched in there and said, oh, here's all the doctor's reports. I took him to the doctors. That means nothing. Isolation can kill somebody. And you never know when you're being isolated what's really going on in that house, because nobody can get in there to see you.
Correct. I agree 100%, and that's their main concern. They never publicly accused anybody personally of killing him. They had firsthand knowledge of administration of foreign substances, and they believe he was murdered, but they never concluded who murdered him because they just don't know at this point.
Right.
Yeah.
They weren't unable to see him. As soon as he got placed in the hospice, they never saw their dad again.
This is what abusers do. This is what abusers do. That's their MO. Let's isolate so nobody has any evidence. Nobody knows what really goes on. And we've got to start prosecuting the isolation. Otherwise, these abusers, whether it's a family member, because 90% of abusers are with elder abuse are family members. Then you have a court-appointed guardian ad litem or conservator guardian, and they start to isolate. And they like locking the doors, changing the phone numbers, getting rid of everybody that ever knew him. And whether it's to steal the money or to be spiteful, nothing is going on. And like you know, I mean, I've gotten letters from people around the country. This is an epidemic.
It's unfortunate, but it does happen a lot. And because older people are more vulnerable, it's usually unreported because they kind of feel like prisoners in their own home.
Right.
And they don't know how to fight it. They don't have the mental capability or maybe the strength or the wherewithal to fight for their rights because they're just worn down and older and vulnerable. And that's what our basic argument is that this isn't about money. The kids have never made it about money. They've made it about a person who has alienated them from their father for years, who sequestered their father from them in his dying days, who took control of medical decisions and was not a family. It's just a whole slew of actions that point to bad acting on one's part.
Yeah. On the phone, we have B.B. King's daughter's attorney, Larissa Drohobyczer. And I have another question. And this may seem really common sense, but I think that it goes unnoticed. The coroner who examined Mr. King said that he died from dementia after having a series of small strokes. Isn't that a red flag right there that if he had dementia, he most likely did not have capacity? If he didn't have capacity, how is he able to name just one person who's not even a family member to make financial and medical decisions for him? That's what I don't realize, why courts don't see this as a huge red flag and open an investigation of elder abuse.
Correct, and you're absolutely right. That was one of the causes of death, but the coroner did, when in Nevada, when somebody is care, they don't do an automatic autopsy. So those were just, I guess you would say, interpreted or stipulated by his hospice caregivers of his cause of death, but technically they didn't know until they did the autopsy and toxicology, which is what we requested and what we're waiting for the results on.
Yeah. So Karen and Patty have now signed an affidavit that their father was killed. What are the next steps? What can you share with us that is not confidential at this point?
Well, there is the coroner. We're waiting for the results on the autopsy and the toxicology. We are contesting appointment of the executor. And we're going to go from there with the criminal investigation into elder abuse and some of the other breaches of fiduciary care.
Okay. And what is the mentality towards elder abuse in Nevada? I know, Kerri, that you've gone around a lot and you've talked to politicians and people that are prominent figures in Nevada. But Larissa, what is the mentality that you've seen in cases like this with the courts?
Well, they've kind of gone under the wayside. They did report, my clients reported issues with elder abuse to the appropriate agency, and basically the claims went nowhere. Nevada is a state where a lot of older people come to retire, but the elder abuse isn't really taken seriously here for some reason, and it may be because our agencies aren't staffed well enough, or administratively they don't have the resources, but it happens quite a bit, and it just really is something that we need to advocate for, because older people are like children, the most vulnerable, and they're probably more targeted because they have more resources from being older, have savings, have TD accounts, different financial assets.
If you just tuned in, you're listening to Protecting Your Family with Barouti. I'm Kerri Kasem, and Larissa, who is B.B. King's daughter's attorney. You were on the phone. You're making sense. I have to tell you, my foundation, the Kasem Cares Foundation, is trying to get legislation into every single state that would prevent a lot of this. It gives adult children visitation rights. Not every adult child, but you can go in there without going for a entire guardianship or a durable power fight, which could cost $100,000 to $300,000. This just allows a judge to rule on visitation and stop the isolation. Now, I had a bill there. First with Michelle Fiore, Assemblywoman Michelle Fiore, and then it was with John Hambrick, who is Speaker of the House over there. He was a speaker. And so both of those bills it's unbelievable how people don't get behind it. Everybody's aging. We have an aging population, and they don't even want to protect themselves. It doesn't make any sense. We're going to try again. I'm not sure if the legislature is in every year, every 2 years in Nevada, but we're going to try again. And now I used to do a radio show there on KXNT with a man named Alan Stock, and he's going to help me get the bill there, because you're right. There is not enough resources. People don't know how to handle elder abuse claims. And APS, Adult Protective Services, just takes the worst of the worst, the 1%, the ones who are starving, the ones who are found, in their own feces, but they don't know how to protect the ones that are being isolated. So you're right. There is not enough resources or education.
And I think that your mission is correct. And, baby boomers, in about 10, 15 years, they're going to be the largest percent of the population, and they're going to be elderly. So we need to be proactive and kind of push for all these different regulations, because we're going to see a large rise in elder abuse with the baby boomers aging out of retirement, becoming more vulnerable, and having other maybe mental and capacity issues where they rely on caregivers who are not family members. And as unfortunate as it is, when people have money at stake, sometimes they make bad decisions. Greed really can change a person's values and influence their actions. So I'm 100% for your legislation, and I will help you in any way that I can.
Thank you. When I'm out in Las Vegas next, I would love to meet with you. So, and we can maybe, team up on this thing, because we really got to change the laws here. It's just awful. Thank you.
We really do.
Yeah.
And in every state, just for the simple fact of the large population of people that we're going to have that are going to be susceptible to wrongdoers.
Yep.
Right.
Yes.
And you always have a voice here on protecting your family. And if you want to ever come back with Karen and Patty, we'd be more than happy to have you guys on the show. And Kerri, I know your foundation will reach out to them, or if you guys want to reach out to Kerri,
Absolutely.
she's here. She's already been through something like this, and we want to make sure that we can help you. And we really appreciate your time.
And if you need us out there, we will be out there too to support you. So you just let us know what you need.
Oh, awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, once more things go public, I will keep you guys in the loop and probably come back on the show.
Awesome.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so
Thank
much.
you.
And thank you for what you do. We really appreciate it.
Okay, thanks very much. You guys have a great day. Bye,
Thank you.
everybody.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
We were just on the air with Larissa Drohobyczer, who is the attorney for Karen Williams and Patty King, who are BB King's daughters, who are claiming that their father was not only abused, but he was murdered and he was isolated. And we are hoping to hear more about that case once it becomes public, Kerri, and I hope that you can reach out to them and help them as soon as possible.
Oh, absolutely. And a lot of people have reached out for me, not only just people with famous last names all over the country. And, we're doing what we can to help those people, including, my lawyer trying to reach out to some people to give advice, free advice.
Right.
Because there's not a lot of help out there.
Yeah, that's what we want to make sure that we get across here on Protecting Your Family on Talk Radio 790 KBC. And when we come back from the break, we have David Nino Rodriguez. Stay tuned.